Hey guys, Heidi Easley here, Texas Art and Soul, and founder and owner of Paint Party Headquarters. And I am so honored right now. I have my coach, Stu McLaren, who actually helped me start a membership. So welcome, Stu. Thanks for being here.
I'm excited and honored, Heidi. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh. So you've basically kind of changed my life, you and Patty Palmer. You, Patty Palmer, and I have to give some credit to Shanda Sumner too. She started me on this path over 5 years ago of online craziness. So I'm so thankful I'm here, but tell people kind of what you do and what you're about.
So the long story short is I help entrepreneurs create more recurring revenue in their business. Just like the big companies like the Amazons and the Apples and the Netflix and the Spotify, where they have built a business model that generates recurring revenue for them. The same is true for literally thousands and thousands of others. Heidi, you're a perfect example of this, where membership is creating more stable recurring revenue for entrepreneurs worldwide. And it doesn't matter what market you're in, whether it's photography and calligraphy or fitness and finance or health and music or art or dog training, for crying out loud. It doesn't matter. We have literally tens of thousands of examples. And my background is that I used to have a software company that powered over 70,000 online communities and membership sites. And through that, I got to see what worked in the sites that were growing year over year over year and what wasn't working for the vast majority of them that were either flatlining or dropping off. And so I started paying attention to what is it about those few sites that are growing year over year over year. And I started to uncover some uncharacteristic, unorthodox, unusual approaches to both creating content, to marketing, to keeping their members happy that were absolutely impacting the results that they were getting. And now that's what I love to teach. I love sharing what those strategies are for thousands of others to help them do the same in their business.
Yeah, that is amazing. And I know you work with some big names. Are we allowed to say some of them?
Yeah, go. Yeah.
I know you've talked about Dave Ramsey, which I'm a huge fan of. I actually got a ticket a couple weeks ago going to my dad's birthday because I was listening to the Debt-Free Scream. And I was speeding about 15 miles over the speed limit, and I got a ticket. And I was like, but I was listening to Dave Ramsey. And here you are, $100 ticket. But he didn't budge. So
yeah, he didn't buy it.
He didn't buy it. But anyway, so it's just really cool that you work with these huge names, and then also they're getting great results. And besides that, I mean, just ordinary people like me, which is so cool because all of the people that we're talking to today, and they're either artists, they're crafters, they're like me. We just want to share God's love through art. We want to have fun doing it, but we want to pay our freaking bills, and we want to be able to, go on trips when we want to go on. I have a challenge in my membership right now. It's called I have these challenges every month where they have to do something, and then me and Pixie, my daughter, she's almost 13, we'll go shopping for them, and we'll actually do a live while we're shopping, and we'll pick out stuff for them, and we'll send them this fun surprise. And we do this challenge. It's called, open a creative account. Now, it's not that big of a deal. Yes, you have to go to another bank. You have to open it. You have to be able to put some of your Paint Party money into that account. But just the idea of we want to have these extra fun adventures. We want to pay for our, kids' summer camp or whatever the case may be. So a lot of these people that are listening are artists and crafters, and we're not trying to make gazillions of dollars. We're just trying to have a fun life. What would you say? Would this help them if they're wanting to do some art lessons online? What would you say?
Well, listen, there's so many great examples of where it doesn't take much, it doesn't take much to have a huge impact. And I can share all kinds of different types of businesses where, it's not like somebody's generating hundreds of thousands of dollars per month, but it's like somebody who's generating, for example, Mary Claire Fredette. So she has a traditional bricks and mortar business, right? Which is massage. And, for her, one of the challenges is that she found that her business had this huge influx and flow where sometimes she'd be really busy and other times it would be dead. But the problem was that there was no predictability as to when she would be busy and when she wouldn't be. And so for her, she, her goal was to launch a membership site, and all she wanted was 10 members, because that would help her even out her cash flow. And for her, when she first launched, she welcomed 16 members at $75 a month. And that generated over $1,000 in predictable recurring revenue. And what that does for her is it has just evened out her business in terms of the cash flow. And so it doesn't require that you've got to have this massive audience. Sometimes just a small number of people committed and joining your membership helps you create that stability in your business. And there's tons of examples like this, like Wendy Batten. So Wendy Batten, she helps paint store retailers. So tiny, tiny niche. She didn't have a huge audience, not tens of thousands, not thousands. She had a few hundred people. In fact, she had about 459 people in her audience. And when she launched her membership site, she welcomed 59 new members into her membership, generating over $2,000 a month in recurring revenue. And that's a mortgage payment. That's a car payment. Like, those are big deals. And so I share it because many times, like, no matter whether your business is big or small, recurring revenue matters because of what it makes possible and for the stress that it relieves for those of us who are in business for ourselves. Because there's nothing that creates stress more for an entrepreneur than not knowing where the next sale is going to come from. And when you have a membership, you know exactly where it's going to come from, and you know exactly how much it's going to be, and it creates that predictability. So for those of us who do want to go on vacation and who do want to set money aside and who do have perhaps like aging parents that we are concerned about caring for, or we have kids that we're saving for college, we now have the means to be able to predictably know how much is coming in and to be able to set that aside accordingly.
Yeah, I think that's been the biggest change for me because, I always tell my members, I'm like, I'm not going to stop teaching paint parties. Like, it is great money. I mean, and I tell them, like, I know exactly what you're feeling because I had 2 parties this week and I had a party cancel on Thursday. So I know exactly what they're thinking at night. I know where they're struggling. But the thing about having a membership that has been so rewarding for me and possibly will be for them is the fact that now, I have that down. I know how to teach some paint parties. I know what the predictability of that is. Now at night, I'm like, how can I help these people in paint party headquarters? Like, I know this is their struggle. Let me get creative and figure out how to break it down so that they don't have to worry. And I think some of these women who are messaging me and, sending me notes and, trying to figure out like another avenue, because I'm all about several ways of making money. Don't just put all your eggs in one basket. I like to have several so they're all going, right?
Yeah.
And I think, the thing is I think they see the potential and they see what they can do. And I think they've seen me do it, so they know it's possible. But what I want you to speak into for just a couple minutes is, what if they're like, Heidi, I don't have an email list yet. I don't have, I have 43 followers on Facebook. Like, in this, tribe thing that you're, talking about, is there training for that? Is there, is some of that going to be talked about? What's going on with that?
Yeah, well, and this, Heidi, through teaching Tribe, my eyes have been opened. Like, I'm aware enough to know when I am right and when I am wrong. And I used to think that you needed an audience of several thousand people in order to be able to make a membership site work. I used to think that. But it was our tribe who have opened my eyes to the fact that you don't need an audience of tens of thousands or thousands. In fact, a few hundred people is all it takes. In fact, even beyond that, you can start a membership site even with a smaller audience than that. And the reason being is, when you have a small audience, what we are always finding is a smaller audience has typically much higher conversion rates. And what that means is that you're able to build a more intimate relationship with your audience because you get to know them on a more personal level. Like, when you've got a big audience, there's no way that you can get to know everybody on a personal level because there's just too many people. But with a smaller audience, you absolutely can. So for example, like Nicholas Wilton, who is a fine artist. Okay. So he teaches people how to paint fine art. When he launched his membership site, he didn't launch it to tens of thousands. He didn't launch it to thousands. He launched it to roughly 200 people. But he knew those 200 people intimately well because he had been working with them through a course that he teaches on, again, how to do his style of fine art. Mm-hmm. Now, what happened was when he shared it with them, he didn't have this, fancy pants marketing message or whiz bang videos or this or that. All he did was he shared with them a vision for what he saw the community becoming. And he said something to the effect of, so many of you have been reaching out to me asking, what's next? How can we continue the learning around what it is that we've done with this fine art class? And he said, and in the beginning, I didn't have thoughts of what would be next, but the more requests and comments like this that came in, the more my wheels started turning. And it gave me an idea. It gave me an idea for a community where we could bring those of us together who want to deepen the learning and stay together and help each other and support each other in growing our skills, our painting skills. And so here's what I envisioned. And he started kind of listing out what it meant. And he said, I want to invite you to join me as a founding member. And as a founding member, I want to grant you the absolute lowest price possible because the site isn't even created yet. It's not going to be ready for 2 months. If there's an interest in it, then we'll create it and it'll be ready in 2 months. But as a founding member, you'll get in on the ground floor and you'll always have the lowest price even when we do launch it to the public. Now, the crazy part is, Heidi, is that he was sharing this with about 200 people. And over 180 of them signed up at $30 a month, producing $5,400 a month in recurring revenue. And he hadn't even created the site yet. And
That's insane.
It's crazy, right? And I share it because we sometimes get all twisted up in our head. As my mom used to say, we get our knickers in a twist. And the reason I share it is because you can keep it as simple as you want. You can keep it as stripped down as you want. Another great example is Anna Saucier. So she was at our live event. Every year we host a live event in Toronto called Tribe Live. And I love, love, love sharing stories because stories are, it shows people what's possible. And so after all these stories of people who didn't get it right, they just got it going, Anna said, you know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to launch my membership site. She had been stuck in her head. She'd been thinking about all the ways that she was trying to get it perfect. And she said, to heck with it. I'm launching. She did not have a huge audience whatsoever. Tiny audience. And she sent out an email using the same essentially script that I just shared that Nicholas used. She was thinking of an idea. Join me as a founding member. And her goal was to generate $5,000 in 24 hours. That's a pretty substantial goal. Because she didn't have any sales materials. She didn't have any videos, didn't have a webinar, didn't have any of that stuff. She just made a Facebook post and she sent an email to her tiny list of, I think it was just under 600 people. Now, the amazing part about this story is that she said, if you want to join me as a founding member, just send me a direct message. She didn't even have a checkout page, for crying out loud. So people would send her a direct message and then she would send them a PayPal link. And within 24 hours, Heidi, she had generated over $5,024. And so,
oh my gosh, she hit her goal.
She hit her goal. And so I'm sharing it because I heard that quote back in 2004 from a friend of mine named Mike Littman. He said, you don't have to get it right. You just have to get it going. And with a membership site, it's so true because you learn so much from the people that you get to serve and you learn why it is that they're doing it. You deepen that relationship and all of that helps you in communicating the value of what you're providing to everybody else. And so that first group, that first beta group, that founding member group is, your most cherished group of people. And when you've got a small audience, the amazing part about it is that you know those people and you can work with those people and you can help those people and you can serve those people on a more intimate, in a more intimate way, which has so many benefits for you moving forward. So you don't need a big audience whatsoever. You can have a significant impact, not only for you and your business, but also for the people that you're serving in that membership who join you as founding members.
Yeah, that is amazing. And I think too, sometimes marketers out there are all about my program, my this is for everybody. And it's not. I mean, I really think strongly, like if you're listening to this and you're like excited, you know, and yeah, you're scared, but you're more excited, like I think you should go for it, because that's the thing. Like when I, you know, took Tribe last year, I remember I was like literally foaming at the mouth. I mean, like maybe not literally, but you know, I was like foaming at the mouth thinking, you know, telling my husband like, you know, I have to do this. This is the next step. This is the next phase in my online business. And I remember just being so excited, and you know, and he always supports everything, every decision. He's like, yes, yes. And this one, he stopped and he was like, no, you've taken a lot of courses, Heidi. No, you know, I've been in year-long mentorships with people, and I didn't get back the money that I thought I was going to get. And he's like, no, Heidi, I don't think you should do that. You know? And I said, well, I'll make a deal. If I can make the money before Monday, when those doors open, I said, it's a game on. If God has given me the green light. And granted, the very next morning, I made enough money plus some to pay for the course in full.
Well, can I pause you right there, Heidi? Because I think this is an important lesson. Oftentimes in life, we ask ourselves the wrong question. Here, you asked yourself the right question, which was how? How can I make this happen? And when you put your brain to work by asking those kinds of questions, it's amazing the answers that will begin coming to you. And so I just want to commend you, Heidi, for asking yourself the right question, which is, how can I make this happen? I want to make it happen. How can I make it happen? Because then you turn on your brain in the right way.
Yeah. And you know, I mean, I think everybody has a gut instinct and we know what the next step is. And even if we don't know exactly how, I didn't know how Stu was going to help me. I just saw this guy, you know, all excited and happy about stuff and thought, you know, that's where I need to be. Like I knew that, you know, God was leading me that direction, and I didn't know why and I didn't know how, but I kept telling my husband, I was like, okay, we'll just make a deal. If I get the money, I get the money. If not, then, you know, I'll save up for next year. And I'm so thankful I did. So if you're an artist out there and you're like, you are excited and you see this goofy guy over here laughing and smiling and you think, you know, he's got something, there's something that I need to learn from him. And I am not a person that just grabs, you know, affiliates like this lightheartedly. I only bring affiliate stuff to you that, you know, I know is a passion and I know that works and that I'm excited about. So for y'all to learn from him, I don't know. I'm just so excited for you and excited for what you do with it. Any final thoughts do you have, Stu?
Well, first and foremost, Heidi, thank you so much. I don't take it lightly. You know, we take great pride in the experience that we create for our clients and customers, because the number one thing that we are after is results. Because, you know, we have this philosophy in our business we call the circle of awesomeness, and it starts when the sale is made, but that's the beginning. That's not the end. Because the next focus and the reason our company shifts our entire focus toward is helping our clients and customers get a result. And sometimes the results are the big wins, like the people like Patty Palmer who launch a membership site and in less than a year has over 2,500 plus members. In 2 years, she's got over 6,000 members. Those are like the big wins. But then there's like the little wins, like Ginger, who in our community, we were at a meetup, and she, after all the Q&A, you know, raised her hand like, you know, in a shy way. And I said, yes, Ginger. She's like, I really want to launch a membership, but like, what's the first thing I need to do? And I said, okay, well, Ginger, let's back up. Let me ask a couple questions. I said, you know, tell me a little bit more about your situation. She's like, well, I don't have a big audience at all. And I said, okay, well, what do you think you could do to help you begin building your audience? And she's like, well, I know that you have talked about the value of, you know, delivering a Facebook Live. And I said, yes, great, awesome. I said, so let's just map that out. And I have a 5-part framework, which is like hook, story, teaching points, summary, call to action. And so we literally, you know, on the flip chart in front of everybody, like I said, okay, like Ginger, let's just map it out. So we mapped it out, and she's an interior designer. And she helps people create more warm and friendly homes. And I said, great. So we picked a topic and we literally like mapped it out. And then the rest of the people who were at the meetup could kind of sense where I was going. And I said, Ginger, give me your phone for a second. She's like, what? Why? Well, we're going to do the Facebook Live right now. She's like, no, I can't do the Facebook Live right now. I said, yes, you can, Ginger. You're going to go for it. And I said, you've got everything you need. I said, worst case scenario, you're literally just going to read what we wrote down. And she said, okay. And so like I typed the title into the Facebook Live and we went live, and she was nervous at first, yes, she stumbled a little bit, but she just kept going. And by the end, she had finished her Facebook Live. She was like on top of the world. Everyone was like, yeah, she was cheering. And the crazy part about that is that like for some, doing a Facebook Live is like the easiest thing in the world. But for Ginger, that was her lead domino, because once she did that first one, in 24 hours, it had generated 600 views. And in a week, it had generated over 3,000 views. She didn't have a big audience whatsoever. But what happened was she created great content and it started to spread and people started to share it. And she started to grow her audience. And so the wins come from the big ones like Patty and the little ones like Ginger and everything in between, but they all matter. And that's what we focus on, because when those results come in, big wins, little wins, and everything in between, we have great stories to share. And the stories are what help us attract more awesome people. And so we take great pride in the experience that we create because we know what memberships make possible for people. Sometimes it's, transforming the business. Sometimes it's getting out of that one-on-one, consultancy. Sometimes it's, creating more predictability in the business. Sometimes it's generating a few extra dollars to be able to take the family out for, for dinner or to the water park or on, a road trip. Or sometimes it's about caring for aging parents like we've talked about. Like whatever it is, here's what I know is possible. Membership sites are the future of business. It's the reason why big companies like Amazon and Apple and Netflix and Spotify, heck, yesterday, I just got word that Burger King now has a membership site. And I'm sharing this with you because so many businesses, big and small, are moving toward a membership model because it creates more stability. And I want that for entrepreneurs because I believe the more money we make as entrepreneurs, the more money we have to give to people and causes that we're passionate about. And so for me, this is a much bigger mission than just, making money. It's what that money makes possible. I don't know what that is for everybody listening and watching, but I do know that when you have more financial resources, you can do more for the people and causes that you love. And so am I passionate about this, Heidi? You betcha. You betcha I am. And I absolutely want to encourage everybody just to begin exploring. Just explore the idea of a membership and what that might make possible for you. And if that means coming to join us for our free workshop, awesome. I want to encourage you to do that because during that free workshop, I'm going to show you how to identify, whether your market is a good fit for a membership, how to begin thinking about content so that you can create content that doesn't overwhelm your people and most importantly, doesn't overwhelm you. And I'm going to help you begin thinking about what are the most important parts of a membership business that really make it succeed year over year over year. So I want to encourage everybody to come join us for the free workshop because we're going to dive deep and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it for you and your business.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Stu. And for all of you artists out there, there are no more starving artists. Enough with that. We're done with that. Let's make some money, provide for our families, and do things that we want to do. So thank you, Stu, so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And everybody else, if you have any questions, please reach out and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
You're awesome. Thanks, Heidi.